So death is something we all know and all will probably have to face, and it is something that some people have faced in kind of strange and unusual ways. I'm basically going through a list throughout history of extremely unusual deaths, starting from a long time ago and going up until recently. Draco of Athens was the first ever recorded legislator of Athens. It is believed that by some that they may not have even existed but made up in legend. This is due to the fact that very little is actually known about their life up until their death, which was due to being smothered with gifts of cloaks and hats. Duke Jing of Jin was the ruler of the state of Jin and a powerful during the spring and autumn period of ancient China. They were told that they would not live to see the next wheat harvest. After executing the shaman, they were about to eat the wheat harvest when they felt the urge to go to the bathroom, at which point they fell through a hole and drowned. Empedocles of Acrigas proudly boasted that he had become a divine being, and to prove that, they jumped into an active volcano, which proved their statement false and also killed them. Zeno of Citium. He was a philosopher and physicist who was revered by a good amount of people until the day he tripped and fell after leaving a school. And as they punched the ground with their fist and quoted the book Niobe, I come, why dost thou call for me? He died quickly after due to the fact that he had chosen to hold his breath for a bit too long. Chrysippus of Soli was, funnily enough, was mentored by Zeno of Citium, and they both share equally weird deaths. Chrysippus died from laughing at his own joke. When he saw a donkey eating figs, he instructed a slave to give the donkey wine to wash down the figs, at which point they laughed so much they died. Li Bai is a Chinese poet who has over 1,000 poems attributed to their name, but according to legend, they got drunk during a boat ride across the Yangtze River, and seeing the reflection of the moon in the water, they attempted to hug it and fell off the boat, drowning. Louis III of France was the ruler of West Francia from 879 until he died in 882. He was 18 when he chased a girl on top of a horse, and after the girl ran into a house to get away from them, they continued to chase them, but then, due to the fact that they were on a horse, hit their head on the top of the door and died from a fractured skull. Pope Adrian IV was the only Englishman to have been a pope and reportedly died while drinking spring water when a fly flew into it and they choked and died. Hans Steininger was the burgomaster of Brunna am Inn, who had an unusually large beard that they usually kept inside a small leather pouch, but one day, when the beard was not being stored, they tripped on it and managed to fall so hard that they died. David Grunman, for unknown reasons, decided to use a shotgun to shoot a cacti near Lake Pleasant Regional Park. After the shots made contact with the cactus, a 4-foot-long arm fell off and crushed David. This all happened on February 4th, 1982. Michael Scaglone died in an extremely strange way. On the 15th of April, 1982, they were playing golf and must have gotten a pretty bad score because they smashed their golf club against a golf cart and in anger, and the club rebounded and hit Michael's throat and managed to sever his jugular vein. John Eric Hexum was a popular actor who was reportedly playing fake Russian roulette, in which the rounds were loaded with paper, but the paper managed to hit them hard enough that it caused severe internal brain bleeding, and they died quickly thereafter. Jerome Moody had a really strange death for the fact that they were attending an annual party set up by the lifeguards of a specific pool in New Orleans. The party was always set up whenever there had been a year when no one was found dead or drowned in the pool. A few hours later, Jerome was found drowned at the bottom of the pool. Gary Hoy was a Canadian corporate and securities law professional who worked at the Holden Day Wilson law firm in Toronto. They reportedly enjoyed showing people how sturdy their windows were by on the 24th floor running and slamming into them. They were correct that the windows would not shatter, but on one tour they ran into the window and nothing happened. They did it again and the glass did not shatter, but the window popped out of its frame, plunging them to their death. Roger Wallace was an old auto parts salesman who owned and operated a 5-foot remote-controlled plane and was flying it when the bright sun obscured their vision, and the plane came back and stabbed them in the chest. Francis Daniel Brom was hanging out of the back of a car being driven by John Hutcherson. At a point in their journey, they came close to a telephone wire, and Francis was decapitated by a hanging wire. John surprisingly continued driving until they got to their home and went to bed. The body of Francis was only found when a neighbor noticed a headless body lying in a trunk. Anthony Hensley was kayaking through a pond at the residential complex of Des Plaines, Illinois. After getting too close to a mother swan's nest while still on the kayak, he was attacked and the swan pushed them into the water, and due to the fact that the bird was still attacking them, they were unable to surface and eventually drowned. Stephen Wotak, at 74 years old, was decorating a graveyard for Easter when the tombstone of his mother-in-law fell on him and crushed him to death. Kind of funnily, he was buried across from that tombstone. So, that's the video. If you want to know where I got this information, all the sources will be in the description. And yeah, and you can check out my second channel, which is going to be in the end and is right up here in the corner. So, but yeah, in that channel I cover other things, mostly video games, books, movies, a lot of other stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of fun to make. It's really interesting to go through the history of strange deaths. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day, and good night.